Welcome to Tastefully Nerd's Magic Show. I'm Green, and today we're building a Wizard's Tower. What is a Wizard's Tower, you ask? Why, it's an alternative way of playing Magic the Gathering. It's a format designed with the initial Theros block, specifically for using your Magic the Gathering bundles, aka Fat Packs, to just get a quick kind of jumbo multiplayered sealed game in. Just enjoy my drink. Good stuff today. All right. So I have a Throne of Eldraine gift edition bundle. Appreciate the foil. Ooh. I've already unsealed it, but I haven't really opened it up to take a good look at the contents. So we're going to use this. Like I said, Wizard's Tower is intended to be used with bundles. We're going to use this as our base for today's Wizard's Tower. You open it up, what do you got inside? Got some rules cards. Don't need them. Foil promo Piper of the Swarm and foil lands. Not going to be using those today. Regular land pack. We will be using this. Set aside. Fancy kind of see-through die. Very cool. Won't be using this today though. Bloop. I rolled a 4. Not great. Multiple packs. Oh my. So a Wizard's Tower uses actually initially 9, but it now uses 10 packs. The version I do uses 10 packs because the entire contents of a standard bundle. So we have an extra. As a reward for building the tower, I will reward myself with opening a Throne of Eldraine collector's booster. So not part of the tower, but I'll go off to the side. Get the box out of here. All right, so you get 10 boosters. Now, you're supposed to add 80 lands. I just add 75, and there's a reason why. I'll explain in a sec. Because I take the new bundles, have the 25 land pack, and then 25 premium packs. So I take one of the regular 25 packs. And then I like to get the bundles for the boxes and the extras. I know they're not the most cost-effective way to get boosters, but here is, come on, camera, a Eldrazi. What is this? Oh, I thought this. Sorry, I thought this was a previous bundle 25 from another bundle, but it's actually just 25 that I set aside for the purposes of filming this video a while back. So these are just random lands. So, anyways, 25 additional lands. Boom, right there. And then here is from the Ikoria bundle I picked up the other day. Here's the basic lands from that. So we've got our basic lands. We have our boosters. Let's get to construction. So the whole point is you are doing this blind. You do not know what cards are in your boosters, therefore you do not know what cards are going to be in your tower. But you're going to go ahead and start shuffling up some lands. Wah, wah, wah. Alright, and then these guys are already shuffled, but I'll shuffle them up some more. Wah, wah, wah. The only downside to the bundle experience is to the best way to not know what you're doing, as well as to get a bundle assembled. I'm sorry, a Wizard's Tower assembled in a reasonable time, is you don't sleeve the cards. So careful when shuffling. Or just set aside 20 minutes or so before your friends come over and pre-sleeve without looking, and then kind of whatever. So first thing I do, shuffle all the lands. Whoops, sorry buds. Shuffle all the lands that I add to it. Obviously there's going to be more lands from the boosters. And 7 riffle or mass shuffles is enough for sufficient randomization. I'm going to do a little less than that because I don't want this to take forever. So like I said, I usually only do 75 lands in the tower itself because I find that when you're playing a pure Wizard's Tower, a lot of times you end up mana flooded or mana screwed right at the beginning. So to sort of ease the mana burden in a 5-color multiplayer format, and I'll explain how it's played after I build the tower, I do what's called the Wizard's Garden, and I actually take the top 7 cards of the lands. 1, 2. I don't reveal them, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I set them off to the side. When we begin play, those will form the wizard's. Sorry, put them on camera. Those will form the wizard's garden that is in front of the wizard's tower. You know, because it's lands and whatever. So now we're going to crack packs. Ooh. Oh, we're going to see what the first common is. That's one advantage of having the commons first, is you're not being spoiled what the rares are, because you got to pull your token out. Token, and then each pack you just give a little gentle shuffle. Oop. This doesn't really matter if it gets confused with the lands, because they're all going to get shuffled together anyway. Alright, well, we have a prize griffin. Token. A little shuffle. A little shuffle. What some people do when playing Wizard's Towers is they pull off the foils or rares so that they don't have anything potentially valuable getting shuffled without sleeves and potentially getting messed up in your tower. But we're gonna raw dog it, you know, so to speak. We're gonna be reckless. And you're just going to do this for all your packs. All right, so I've opened the packs. I got the tokens out. I have my land stack, and I have my card stack, and then I have my garden stack. So now we're going to go ahead and shuffle in the lands and the non-lands. So I'm going to do, yes, I know, technically this could be considered mana weaving, the way I have split the lands and the non-lands into little piles, and I'm now shuffling them together in a semi-coordinated effort. But seeing as how this is a free-for-all, casual, multiplayer format where we don't even know specifically what cards we're using, I'm going to consider that an acceptable sin. And then, boop, boop, there's your tower. Now, before you actually get to playing, once I've made my tower, every time before we play at the tower, I do an additional shuffle. I usually just break it off into 4 chunks. And then pick 2 chunks that weren't next to each other. And then these are a little too big for me to riffle, so then I just kind of mash shuffle them together. And then these 2. Come on, baby. Someone split. And then this will be awkward, but we'll get it done. Yeah. Everyone like this amazing cinematography of hands just everywhere? Just hands. There we go. That's what I do. I make the tower, then I do a really awkward shuffling later. Cool. All right, so that's step 1. Step 1 is build your tower. And step 1.A, because it's technically optional, but I like to do it, is to build your garden. Now that we have a tower, how do you play it? Well, as I was rambling through my awkward shuffling earlier, it is ideally a multiplayer format it can be just 2 players, 1v1, but it works best 3 to 6 players. I think it works best with 4. 4 is like the sweet spot. But 4 is kind of the sweet spot for most multiplayer games of Magic, in my humble opinion. So I like to take 4 players. Before we draw any cards, one player, usually the host, is the dealer, and they're going to go ahead and take off the top. They're going to, from the top of the tower, they're going to deal out a starting 7-card hand to everybody. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure your garden separate. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, so on and so forth, up to your starting card of 7 hands. Now, you can mulligan. Like multiplayer games, first mulligan is free. When you mulligan, you give your cards back to the dealer. The dealer will then plop them on the bottom and then deal you a new hand. After everyone's on their mulligans and you have your starting hand, everyone has their starting hand. You then flip. You normally would flip the top 7 cards from the tower face up to form the tower zone. The tower zone is independent of the rules. It does not interact with anything. It is just there for this purpose. But this is what I make the garden for. So I actually flip the garden over. This way everyone can have access to some lands. Maybe not the right color distribution. For example, there is no green in this opening 7. So sorry green players, there are no forests there. But you flip the top 7. Now, when it's your turn, the player who goes first does not draw. That is true of most multiplayer games. And then every other player draws. How do you draw in a Wizard's Tower? Well, first, you blind draw from the top and you add it to your hand. Whoops, I just dropped that. So you blind draw from the top, you take a look at your hand, and then you see what you need. You don't have to take a look at your hand, but you blind draw off the top of the tower, and then you get to pick one card from the tower zone. So I've got a white, I've got a green. There's no forest down there, but you know what? I'll go ahead and I don't need double white, so I'll diversify. I'll grab the blue, because there's only one blue, and maybe another player has blue spells, but they don't have any islands in their hand. So now I just denied them an island, a guaranteed island. They could still blind draw an island. And then you do your turn, pass the next player. Next player will then, do the blind draw. Then they'll pick. Let's say they want the swamp. And the swamp goes in their hand. This happens until everybody has picked from the tower zone. The last player, when there's one card left in tower zone, the player whose turn is to draw has to take that pick. So they blind draw, then they take the last card in the tower zone. What happens when you take the last card of the tower zone? You then create a new tower zone. So they then flip, or you can ask the dealer if you want to, but usually it's the player who just grabbed the last card from the tower zone. They will flip the top 7 of the tower, and they will form a new tower zone for the next player to start picking from. So from there, other than sharing the deck, it's just in the graveyard, it's a normal game of multiplayer Magic. You do share the library, like I said. So if someone has a search a library or something lets them interact with the library, they're interacting with the library, the exact same library that everyone is interacting with. You do share a graveyard. So let's say I didn't say please, I countered your spell, it goes to the graveyard. We all share that graveyard. So if someone then plays a card that lets you get instant from the graveyard, anyone can take that because we are all sharing one graveyard. We also, we do not share an exile zone. Everyone has their own specific exile zone. But we do share a graveyard, we do share a library. If the graveyard gets exiled, I believe it goes to the player who caused the exiling, goes into their exile zone. I'm not 100% positive about that. This is a super casual format, so I don't even know if Wizards has a FAQ or anything in regards to how Wizards Tower is played. Share graveyard, share library. Tower zone cannot be interacted with other than your special draw step. You have your own hand, you have your own portion of the battlefield, you have your own exile zone. Everyone starts at 20 life. You play until one player is left alive. The only exception to that is, like I said, you all share a library. So if you were the player who would draw the last card from the library and somehow the library's been milled out, you lose, and then everyone else wins or ties, depending on how you want to look at it. In my play group, we have a tiebreaker. Highest life total wins in the event of that happening. 2 people are tied. They then each play a turn. We do one turn around, and at the end of that turn, obviously skipping draw steps because no one could draw anymore. the player with the highest life total remaining still wins. But that's never happened. We've never milled through the whole library in a Wizard's Tower. It's a very big library, and so we've never had to do tiebreaker. But that is how you play Wizard's Tower. I think it's a super fun format. Like I said, it's very casual. I actually I will take a lot of my bulk cards, my bulk rares, bulk uncommons, and bulk commons, and actually just sort of build semi-random. They're semi-curated because I know what the uncommons and rares are, but I don't pay any attention to the commons that go into them, and I don't really pay much attention to the uncommons, to be fair. And I have several more or less random Wizard's Towers just on the ready in case we're ready to throw down. One of my favorite formats to Wizard's Tower is actually Modern Horizons. What I do with Modern Horizons, and theoretically any Wizard's Tower where snow matters, I always make sure it's snow lands primarily or snow lands only in the Wizard's Garden, just so that we have access to that. Because the first time we did Modern Horizons we didn't do the garden at all. I don't think anyone hit a snow land until way late in the game, and everyone had snow relevant cards in their hands that weren't doing anything. Well, thank you for sticking around for me to finish building this Wizard's Tower. As a reward, we're going to open this Throne of Eldraine pack. Time now to reward ourselves with some Throne of Eldraine Collector Boosters action. All right. Curious Pair foil. Merfolk Secret Keeper. Oh, is this? No. Okay. This is the Fairy Tale frame foil. I love the Fairy Tale foil art on this. But this is the regular frame. Interesting. Love it. Barge in. Regular frame Queen of Ice foil. Baking a pie. It is a shame that foil prices are so much lower now, because from an MTG finance point of view, since these collector's boosters just flood you with foils. They look nice though. The curling is pretty reasonable on these two. Shine Chaser looks good. Too bad it's a card no one cares about. Bognati. Ooh, Shepherd of the Flock. Oh, these are the guaranteed. These aren't foil. These are the guaranteed Fairy Tale frames. Fairy Tale frames. Shepherd of the Flock looking like a badass with his 3/1 body. Hypnotic Sprite looking real good. I love the art on the Fairy Tale frames. I really like the ink art too. I like these arts that don't just look like normal Magic art. I like normal Magic art. Like, for example, this. Banishing the Fable. One of the Brawl rares. Pretty cool. Ooh. Is this foil? It's not foil. It's not a full box topper, but it is a full art Cauldron of Eternity. Very cool looking. Hey, a foil Emery. The last collector's booster I opened for Throne of Eldraine, I got the box topper full art foil Emery. So I guess Emery is just what I get. Pretty cool looking. Pretty cool looking. Foil Dwarf. Ooh, I'm a dwarf. What's on the other side? Foil Food. Tasty. All right. Well, thank you. And now for a little bit of preview of things to come. So I like the open crack packs. This is my box. This is where I'm going to put stuff. I like the crack packs, but I also like to play with packs. So we're going to be doing some experiments with Magic the Gathering in social distancing formats, and upcoming drafts. I like to do 4-player drafts for this channel, as well as other events. Some upcoming drafts we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing one called, I was affectionately calling 2025. We were supposed to film this a long time ago, but it didn't happen because of lockdown. So this is 1 pack of Masters 25, and then 2 packs, of course, of 20 for each person. Because I like to do fun draft formats. So like I said, I call this one 2025, because it sounds like a cool year. There's only 5 years in the future. So set aside enough packs for 4 players to draft. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3, and Player 4. I already opened the other packs from the boxes. I didn't get a full box of Masters 25. I got a box of M20. I already opened them off camera because I wanted to. You already saw me open a box of Ikoria, and I got a bundle and a pre-release pack. We will be absolutely playing this. Potentially, this should be enough for, I believe it's enough for a 4-player draft. Yep. And yep, we will be doing this in the near future. Actually, I'm going to put these off to the side because we might be doing something different with those than just a draft. We will absolutely be doing drafts for mystery boosters. I bought this guy pre-release, or pre-ordered him. I actually went to the mystery booster reveal event at Magic Fest Richmond. If you follow my Twitter, you know I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was not designed with sealed in mind. I'll tell you that. As a draft, it'd probably be really fun, but as a sealed, it was double prizes, so it was double price. I didn't realize it was going to be that expensive when I went there, but I already made the trip, so I bought the tickets, and then I didn't actually win any prizes, so that sucked. I also got just jank. I just opened up unplayable jank, whereas people around me were getting like mana crypts and soul rings and crazy stuff. I just got garbage. So, we will be doing a draft of this, because I've heard it is a phenomenal draft format. Like I said, I don't like it sealed, but I'm always willing to try it in draft. So it's 1 player, 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players. So 4 players of Mystery Booster. Now I could have just flipped this box on my store. I have a store on TCG Player. It's Tastefully Nerd. Could have just flipped this box at this point and made it 110. I could have flipped it for about 180 right now. But you know what? I want to play with these cards. And I also want to gamble a little bit. So these guys will be for cracking. That guy will be for cracking. This guy I dropped will be for drafting. All right. So cracking these guys. Drafting these guys. And then shooting up in expected value, Iconic Masters. For a long time, the black sheep of the Masters family is now, well, the black dragon of the Masters family. The EV on this guy, if I'm not mistaken, is higher than 25, and I think it's approaching Ultimate Masters while being a fraction of the price. Nah, maybe not a fraction of the price. It's up there. These boxes are now around $200. So, come on, Kokushu. Show me your glory. I do want to open a Kokushu because I love the new art in these boxes for the Kamigawa Era Dragons, and I want to make a Kokushu Commander deck, which you might see on the channel eventually. But, again, we will be drafting these. I'm going to go ahead and set aside enough for 4 player. That's 3 players. 4 players. Fit, my pretties, fit. Yeah, they don't fit as well. And then the rest of these, I'll be cracking on the channel. So, here you go. Cracking. Drafting. And playing. That's what you guys have to look forward to. Thank you for joining me. I've been Green. You guys have been great. Thank you for joining me today, watching me build this Wizard's Tower. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Tastefully Nerd. I stream on Twitch. I stream every Friday and occasionally other days as well at twitch.tv/tastefully nerd. Keep it tasty. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.